George Harrison, from guitarist to gardener, and the legendary story in between.
He was the youngest Beatle, the quiet one who stood in the shadow of giants. But his genius was just waiting for its moment to shine. This is a deep dive into the life of George Harrison, the legendary guitarist and spiritual seeker who became a rock and roll icon. Before we explore the quiet genius, do us a quick favor. Hit that like button. We're on our way to 1,500 subscribers, and every single one helps. Join the community by hitting that subscribe button and ringing that notification bell, because when it comes to the story of a music legend, you don't want to miss a single chapter. Welcome back to 10 of the Best Deep Dives. Today we're exploring the life of George Harrison, the quiet Beatle, who found a way to bridge spirituality and rock and roll. We'll follow his journey from his humble beginnings to his creative explosion, his enduring solo career, and his ultimate legacy.
Early life and the quiet beginnings, 1943 to 1959. George Harrison was born in Liverpool in 1943, the youngest of 4 children. His upbringing was grounded and working class, a stark contrast to the fame that awaited him. As the youngest and quietest, he was always an observer, taking in the world around him. He developed a deep love for rock and roll music and a passion for playing the guitar. This led to his most fateful encounter, a chance meeting with Paul McCartney on a bus ride to school. Impressed by his guitar skills, Paul arranged for him to audition for John Lennon's band, the Quarrymen. It was a meeting that would change all of their lives forever.
The Beatles, the youngest and the underdog, 1960 to 1965. As the youngest member of the Beatles, George often found himself in the shadow of the Lennon-McCartney songwriting duo. While his guitar work was instrumental in shaping the band's sound, his creative voice as a songwriter was largely silenced. On early albums, he would often only get 1 or 2 songs, if any at all. This immense creative frustration was a recurring theme during his time in the band, and it would ultimately lead him to seek a new path.
The Beatles' spiritual and creative awakening, 1965 to 1968. The year 1965 was a turning point. After a pivotal experience, George began to explore Indian music and spirituality. His friendship with the sitar master Ravi Shankar and his immersion into Hinduism and the Hare Krishna movement profoundly changed his music and his perspective on life. This spiritual journey brought a newfound depth to his songwriting, and he began to write masterpieces that hinted at his true potential. This was also a time of happiness with his wife, model Pattie Boyd, who was a constant source of support for him. The final Beatles years and the breakup, 1968 to 1970. By the end of the 1960s, George was a master songwriter. He finally broke free from the constraints of the band with timeless classics like While My Guitar Gently Weeps, Something, and Here Comes the Sun. But his creative explosion came with a price. He was so frustrated by the band's infighting and his feeling of being unappreciated that he temporarily quit the band during the Let It Be sessions, famously telling the others, "See you around the clubs." The band was fracturing, and George's solo vision was a major reason why. All Things Must Pass, the solo masterpiece, 1970 to 1971. After the Beatles' breakup, George was finally free to release the flood of material he had been holding back. The result was the monumental triple album, All Things Must Pass. It was an instant masterpiece and a powerful statement that he was a creative force in his own right. The album's success cemented his status as a solo artist. He then put his spiritual beliefs into action by organizing the Concert for Bangladesh in 1971, the first ever major charity concert, raising millions for a humanitarian cause and setting the standard for benefit concerts for decades to come. The middle years and personal life, 1972 to 1987. While his later albums were not as commercially successful, George continued to create and find peace in other areas of his life. He found solace in his love for gardening, tending to his sprawling estate, and in his passion for Formula One racing. He also became a successful film producer with handmade films, which financed groundbreaking movies like Monty Python's Life of Brian. During his period, he divorced Patty Boyd and married Olivia Harrison, née Olivia Trinidad Arias, who would be his partner for the rest of his life.
The Supergroup and the Final Act, 1988 to 2001. In 1988, George had a late-career creative revival with the Traveling Wilburys, a supergroup he formed with friends like Bob Dylan, Tom Petty, and Jeff Lynne and Roy Orbison. Their album was a massive success, bringing him back to the top of the charts. However, his life was not without its shadows. In 1999, his home was invaded by a man who stabbed him multiple times, an event he only survived because of his wife Olivia's bravery.
The legacy and the quiet conclusion. After a long battle with cancer, George Harrison passed away peacefully at a friend's home in Beverly Hills, Los Angeles, on November 29, 2001, at the age of 58. The world mourned the loss of the quiet Beatle, who was so much more than just a guitarist. He left behind a legacy of deeply personal music, a foundation of spirituality, and a testament to a life lived on his own terms, finding a peaceful way to say, all things must pass.
From his early days with the Beatles to his incredible solo career, George Harrison's life was a testament to his quiet power and unshakable spirit. What is your favorite George Harrison song, either with the Beatles or solo? Let us know in the comments below. And for more deep dives into the lives and legacies of music's true icons, be sure to subscribe to 10 of the Best and ring that notification bell. Thanks for watching.